So for today's video, I wanted to talk about something that I've kind of seen happen a few times, and so I wrote it down a little bit. So people only want to come around or get better once you're trying to leave out the door, or they act shocked when you're actually leaving. Like that's the craziest thing, because I've realized that some people don't think that you're being serious, and I think it's because of how they grew up or their environment. Because some people, they're used to getting cursed out all the time. They grew up in a house where their mom had to keep repeating herself over and over and over again, and so words kind of lose their value. And it just be so crazy to me, because I would tell somebody something that's like, okay, this is making me uncomfortable, or like I'll vocalize it, and it's just like not clicking. Okay, the situation comes up again, I'll say what I need to say again, it's still not clicking. I've realized for like so many times that it did not click until I had already packed up my stuff and was walking out the door. And this went for many situations. It was for, I remember one time in high schools with my teacher. Y'all hear the dog? He's 10 and he has a collapsed trachea, so you might hear him coughing in the background. He's fine. He's just old. But yeah, like in high school, I remember that happened. So I had went to a ghetto high school, and most of the teachers, they were used to getting cursed at and stuff, and I don't curse. I don't like to curse. I personally don't do it. To me, it's a waste of energy. I grew up in a house where people cursed all the time, and it never got any results, any real results. People might get in line for 10 seconds and then stuff goes left again. So I remember that situation. I finally had enough, and and I spoke up, and everybody in that environment kind of was shocked, because if I bring up something, then you're the problem. Because again, I'm not one of those people who's gonna pop off at you, who's gonna do this, to do that, yell, scream. So if I react to you, that means you're doing stuff that's out of line. And so I remember everybody was just kind of just shocked, and the teacher, she didn't know how to respond, because she was so used to students who would just curse at her all day. All I did was say the truth. And I walked out of that class. I went to our counselors, who are the ones who create our schedule and stuff. They're like similar to like deans. Sometimes they call it deans, sometimes they call it counselors, whatever. I told her to take me out that lady class, put me in. We had one other teacher who taught that class. I was like, put me in her stuff, because I'm done, I'm through. But I had to go back to her class one more day, because I think it was like a Thursday that had happened. So they were gonna have my new schedule by Monday. So go there, she thinking she won the battle, all of this, all of that. And then that next day, I think like Monday, she seen me in a new lady class. And then I had to go and get like my books and stuff from her. in my journals because I still had that in her class. And so when I went back, she, was somewhat trying to apologize, all of this, all of that. I wasn't hearing it. I was over it. I was done. I was through. Didn't want to hear any of that. And her class was just so toxic. She was unhappy every single day. Made it our problem every single day. And so I was done. I left her class. Fast forward like a year later, I had her as a teacher again, and she, apologized to me again a year later. More in depth about her behavior, and she had changed, which is the crazy thing, because a lot of times when I walk away and like I end up running back into them or somehow, just whatever it is, it's like they always change. And I'm like, dang, why it has to be me? Like, why you couldn't change the 17 times before that you had that opportunity to change? Like, why does it have to be once I leave? So I've dealt with that with family, where it took me leaving and moving out and getting my own place for some people to finally come around and to do better. Friendships. I remember I would have fallen outs with people, and I would walk away, and then like a month or two later, they want to come back around with an apology and try to be a better person. It's like, I'm out. I done moved on. And so it's always crazy, and it was something that I wanted to talk about because I didn't really see too many videos online about this, about how people want to come around once you're already out the door. You done got in the car, started driving down the street, and now they want to be a better person. But I don't always see these things as negative. I see them as a positive opportunity for both people. Because, whoever's leaving, because this may be the other way around, you might have been the problem. You might have been the problem. And somebody might have walked out on you. But it benefits both parties, even though it might be hard, because the person who's leaving, you're realizing your worth, what you deserve, how to handle conflict, and just being more brave, more fearless, more just prioritizing yourself. And it's not the easiest thing to do, and especially when it's not just you. Sometimes it's multiple people involved, like family. When you're having family issues with different members, it's so many pieces and puzzles involved. Everybody's trying to be in your ear, trying to tell you what to do. So actually leaving. Also with jobs as well. I've walked out on 2 jobs. I walked out on 2 jobs because I was vocalizing things. They were ignoring what I was saying. And I eventually had enough, and I walked out. And you could kind of see like the shock on their faces. Like, once I had enough, because I really realized that a lot of people aren't used to people just walking away and not having like a full-blown fight and argument and cursing and this and that. Like if I tell you something twice, 3 times, like, listen. So when I walk away, or if somebody else have walked away from you, let's say you're the other person, that's a clear sign that something was wrong, and you need to listen to what they're saying, because sometimes it's hard to see the issues that we're having internally when it's us ourselves. And understanding other people's needs, because what may not be a huge deal to you may be a huge deal to somebody else. For example, my mom, due to her childhood trauma, having more than enough underwear and socks was a big thing, because in her childhood she did not have it. My dad did not argue with her about that. He didn't. Did we need that many? Probably not. We probably did not need to have that many pairs of underwear. But she made sure that we had them. Again, it's not a negative habit. It's a little bit strange that we grew up having so many pairs and packs of underwear. But it was just something that she needed. And so that can also be the same case when somebody is telling you something once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Listen. Because it also, in relationships, people think, so let's say somebody was nagging in your ear about something. Let's say, your partner was nagging in your ear about something. And eventually they stopped nagging about it. They've emotionally clocked out. And once people emotionally clock out and they stop bringing stuff up, or they stop telling you as much, the relationship is practically gone. They're looking for an exit, an opportunity to leave. That's pretty much what it is, because it is a basic human need to be seen and heard. And so when you're ignoring someone's basic human need, they're gonna leave and go somewhere else. Only people who are okay with being mistreated and emotionally abused are gonna sit there and let you not listen to them and not take their concerns seriously. So if you're the other person, listen. It shouldn't take something becoming a big argument. It shouldn't take somebody having to say something 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times for you to listen. So when you always wonder why people are walking away, why this friendship ended, why somebody, walked out the door, why this, why that, why did this person go no contact with you? Roll back the tapes. And try to figure out, what were they trying to tell you that whole time that you weren't listening, to the point where they chunked the deuces and walked out the door. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Everybody deserves to be seen and heard, no matter how crazy it might sound. Kind of like the underwear situation with my mom. We would have dozens of packs, even though we can only wear so many. Still, that's not anything to have a big argument over. And so just think about those things and about people feeling seen and heard, because that's the main human need. And your relationships will improve when you take that into a factor, when both parties take it into factor. But adios, that was pretty much it, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'll be posting some more.